Harrison Walker, a reserved elderly man, enters a flashy car dealership only to be humiliated and overlooked due to his unassuming appearance. Little did the staff realize this same individual would return the very next day, not as a customer, but as their new employer. What follows is an unforeseen turn of events that leaves the arrogant salespeople stunned and scrambling. As Harrison takes charge, he enacts a powerful form of justice that no one anticipated. You won't believe how he flips the script in a way that will leave you astonished. But before we delve in, please leave a comment and let us know where you are tuning in from today, and if this story resonates with you, hit that subscribe button for more incredible tales. Harrison Walker was no ordinary individual. Known for his vast wealth and unpretentious demeanor, he had built a fortune over decades of savvy investments and strategic business choices. However, despite being one of the most prosperous men in the state, Harrison rarely showcased his affluence. He led a simple life, drove an ordinary car, and preferred tranquil evenings at home over lavish gatherings. It was this grounded nature that made him relatable, though few were aware of his true wealth. Nevertheless, Harrison was about to encounter a situation that would test his patience and compel him to take unexpected action. One chilly afternoon, Harrison decided to visit a car dealership in town. His vehicle, although still functioning well, was nearly a decade old, and he believed it was time for an upgrade. He had his sights set on one of the luxury models that the dealership promoted. Despite his preference for simplicity, Harrison knew how to recognize quality. However, upon arriving at the dealership in his usual worn jacket and scuffed shoes, the reaction he received was far from inviting. The dealership was bustling with activity, salespeople in sharp suits attending to younger, flashier customers, the sound of engines revving from test drives, and the general buzz of a busy afternoon. Harrison quietly entered the showroom, hoping to find someone to assist him. He wandered from car to car, admiring the sleek designs and polished exteriors, but after 20 minutes of browsing, no one had approached him. It was evident that the staff had noticed him. Some even glanced his way with dismissive looks, but despite his presence, they continued to fawn over customers who, based on appearance, seemed more likely to make a purchase. One salesman, a younger man with slicked back hair, made eye contact with Harrison, but quickly looked away, opting instead to attend to a well-dressed couple who had just entered. Harrison was patient at first. He stood by the luxury sedan he had come to see, running his hand along its smooth surface, waiting for someone to offer help. But as time passed, he felt increasingly humiliated. The whispers from the staff, the cold stares, and the blatant disregard for his presence began to sting. It wasn't just the lack of service, it was the realization that they had judged him solely based on his looks. To them, he was merely an old man who didn't belong. As the minutes dragged on, Harrison's patience began to wear thin. He approached the main desk, where 3 salesmen were chatting. "Excuse me," he said politely. "I'm interested in purchasing one of your vehicles. Could someone assist me?" The man behind the counter barely glanced at him. "We're a bit busy at the moment," he replied dismissively. "Why don't you come back later?" Harrison's expression remained unchanged, but inside, something shifted. He gave a small nod and turned to leave, his heart heavy with a mix of frustration and anger. As he exited the dealership, he caught one of the salesmen laughing quietly, muttering something under his breath about wasting time on window shoppers. But what the staff didn't realize was that Harrison Walker was not a man to be underestimated. The humiliation he experienced that day would not be forgotten easily, and as he drove away in his old car, he made a silent decision. This wasn't over. The next morning, Harrison returned to the dealership, but this time he wasn't there as a customer. He had made a few calls the night before to some influential contacts in the business world, and within hours, he had acquired enough leverage to buy the entire car dealership. Harrison wasn't interested in purchasing a car anymore. He was focused on owning the whole operation. As he stepped out of his car and entered the showroom, the same staff who had ignored him the day before were present, but they had no idea who he truly was. The general manager, a middle-aged man named Tom, approached him this time with a forced smile. "Good morning, sir. How can we assist you today?" he asked, clearly unaware of what was about to unfold. Harrison handed over a set of papers to Tom, his expression calm. "I'm not here to buy a car," he said, observing the man's face as he scanned the documents. "I'm here as your new boss." Tom's face went pale, his hands trembling as he realized what the papers signified. Harrison Walker had bought the dealership overnight. A murmur spread through the showroom as the other staff began to take notice. The once smug salespeople who had laughed at him the day before now looked confused and anxious. Harrison remained composed, but there was a quiet authority in his voice as he spoke. "I came in yesterday hoping to buy a car." Harrison began addressing the room. "But instead of being treated with respect, I was ignored, dismissed, and judged based on my appearance. You all made assumptions about me without knowing anything about who I am or what I'm capable of." The staff exchanged nervous glances, their confident smiles from the day before nowhere to be found. "As of today, I am the owner of this dealership," Harrison continued, "and things are about to change, starting with the people who work here." He turned to Tom, who was now sweating profusely. "Tom, you're fired, and anyone else who treated me or any customer with the same level of disrespect will be gone as well." There was a stunned silence in the room. No one had expected this outcome. The very man they had laughed at and ignored was now their boss, and he wasn't wasting any time making changes. One by one, Harrison began calling out names of the staff he had observed the day before, firing those who had contributed to the toxic culture of the dealership. Those who had shown kindness to others, regardless of appearance, were spared and given new positions of leadership. By the end of the day, nearly half of the staff were gone, replaced with new hires who understood the value of treating every customer with respect. Harrison had transformed the dealership in a matter of hours, and word quickly spread about the new ownership. The once dismissive and arrogant dealership had evolved into a place known for its excellent service and integrity, all due to one man's determination to make a point. As Harrison walked out of the dealership, now fully under his control, he felt a sense of justice. He didn't need to flaunt his wealth or demand respect, he earned it, and in the process, he taught the staff a valuable lesson about humility and kindness. The very people who had judged him were now jobless, and the dealership thrived under his leadership. Harrison Walker was no ordinary man, and he had just demonstrated to the world exactly why. This is a tale of humiliation, resilience, and unexpected revenge, illustrating how one man's modest appearance led others to underestimate him. In the end, Harrison not only acquired the dealership that ignored him, but transformed it into a place where respect is afforded to every customer, regardless of their appearance. A powerful reminder that appearances can be deceptive, and you never know who might be walking through your door.